Hello, everybody. Josh Brown here, back for another great episode on Franchise Euphoria. Well, today's episode is brought to you by IndieFranchiseLaw.com, a leading resource in the franchise space to help you if you're considering buying a franchise, turning your business into a franchise, or growing your business through a licensing or franchise structure. So go on, check it out, IndieFranchiseLaw.com. I think you'll find a lot of valuable and free information as you continue to kind of weigh franchising and licensing and the growth of your business. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy today's episode. On today's episode of Franchise Euphoria, I'm thrilled to have Nick Binnings on. He's the director of brand development for a new franchise concept called Southern Classic Chicken, but it's not a new business. The business has been around for over 35 years and has been serving up home-style fried chicken made with a proprietary marinade and batter, which is complemented by fresh side offerings inspired by its Southern roots for, again, over 35 years. And Nick has been a part of numerous brands. He's turned his own businesses, his own restaurants into franchises and sold them, was a significant part in the growth of Another Broken Egg Café, helping to take the concept from 15 to 62 units. And now he's involved with the Southern Classic Chicken concept, which is really interesting. Quick service, walk up and drive through concept based out of Louisiana. Really enjoyed this conversation with Nick and talking about all things franchising and franchise growth. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this interview with Nick Binnings on Southern Classic Chicken. Hello, Nick. Welcome to Franchise Euphoria. How you doing?
Great, Josh. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some fried chicken today, aren't we? Some Southern fried chicken. But you're the director of brand development for Southern Classic Chicken, which is a new franchise concept, right?
It's a new franchise, but the family's been in business they've been in the chicken business for 35 plus years. So it's not a new company, but I would say it's an emerging franchisor for sure.
And you're new to them, right? I mean, you were involved with another concept. Take a couple minutes, talk about your history, your experience, and then how you got involved with Southern Classic Chicken.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been in the food business since I was a young kid. My first job was at Domino's making pizzas, and all the way through college, I managed bars and grills, and got out of college, opened my first restaurant concept, partnered with some gentlemen, got a life lesson. We franchised it. I got out of the company, went to Moe's Southwest Grill when they had 50 units, worked for Martin Sprock for a bit, learned an enormous amount working for Raving Brands. Started another burger concept, sold it, got it to a couple units, franchised it, sold it. And then about that time, 2009 happened, and everything kind of fell apart. While I've always been in the restaurant business, I've also been in real estate development work. So, through that period, I did some consulting, did a lot of real estate work in Atlanta, and I was always good friends with the founder and owner of Another Broken Egg Café. And, we caught up in 2013. He said, "I'm about ready for you. I need some help to grow this company. I've got a plan, and I think you can help me." So I always found it, or didn't always. I think more recently, I have found that it's my fit and my niche is helping entrepreneurs, restaurateurs expand their business. My passion is developing concepts, helping people grow, focusing on a path and trying to build a company and going from there.
So how'd you get hooked up with Southern Classic Chicken?
Through Another Broken Egg, after 7 years with Another Broken Egg, we sold the company. I had the ability to go out on my own, and I started my own company called Hammock Capital, where I teamed up with an attorney who is a franchise attorney, but he's also one of those C-level executives. He was former president and COO of Smoothie King. He's got a long track record, and we go in and we help these small companies franchise. So Tom was involved with them from the legal side and consulting, and then they needed more of a brand development and operations type guy. So I came on board and really setting the systems. It took us about a year to put all the systems into place and get it ready to grow. And then COVID hit, so we kind of pulled back last February, March, and then hit the pedal again here in September to start growing the company.
So talk about Southern Classic Chicken. I mean, right now is such a, as they like to say in the restaurant, it's a hot time for hot fried chicken and all that stuff. But I mean, this brand's been around for 30 years, you said. So talk about that. Talk about their history. And, sometimes when a brand's been around that long, they don't really want a franchise. So I'm just kind of curious how it all came to be.
Yeah, so it's a family out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Like I said, they've been in business for 35 plus years. They were a long time ago were a franchisee of a known chicken concept. That didn't work out well for them. They felt that they could do a better job on their own, and sure enough, they did. So it was two brothers that started it, along with one of the brother's sons. They're on their second generation now, and I believe as the two brothers were starting to exit a couple years ago, they said, you know what? They tried franchising 10, 15 years ago. It just wasn't for them. They decided to give it a second try. They really wanted to expand the brand for the second generation. Right now, they've got 17 company-owned units, and it's taken a lot out of them to manage that. They're very hands-on. They're extremely focused on what they do best, which is frying chicken. And they said, look, if we're going to grow this brand and expand it, let's go find some like-minded entrepreneurs that understand the restaurant business on our level, and let's award some franchises and partner up with some great people.
So it's a quick service restaurant. So obviously, this is an audio podcast. So paint the picture. Give us a visual. I mean, when you walk into a Southern Classic Chicken, what are we looking at?
All right, so you're looking at an older brand. It's Southern Classic Chicken. Ironically enough, the new model for us moving forward, and starting 30 years ago, they really started this drive-through only in a walk-up window, and majority of their restaurants are drive-through only.
Hey, that's pretty good timing with COVID, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they nailed it 30 years ago, and timing, as you say, is perfect on their end.
So there's no place to go in.
A few of their older units in some of the smaller markets around North Louisiana have dine-in, but it's very similar to some of the other fried chicken concepts that you can imagine. But this one's drive-through only, walk-up window. It's usually in urban neighborhoods, mid-market type areas. It's an average fried chicken looking place right now, and that was part of bringing myself and the other gentleman in. Is they wanted to essentially make fried chicken cool again. And what do you need to do that? What do you need to do to take a brand that's 35 years old, it's not tired? I mean, it may be tired looking, but the AUVs are enormous. The model works. It's an extreme focus just on fried chicken and nothing else but a few sides. And how do you build something new and exciting around that? And that's kind of what we're in the process of doing.
So please tell me it's like the kind of fried chicken. It's got like the crispy fried chicken and then, juicy in the middle. And then what kind of sides do we have going with it?
Yeah, all the above. It's definitely a very crispy chicken. I'm not going to say it's overly spicy, but it's definitely Southern inspired. It's got a little bit of pepper into it. They got the typical sides, your French fries, mashed potatoes and gravy. They do a sweet corn grit, which is something special down here in the South. They also have the dirty rice and fried apple pies and drinks, and that's it. So literally 5 or 6 sides, bone-in fried chicken, chicken tenders, and drinks.
That's all I'm saying. I love the simplicity of that. I've talked to so many concepts and worked with them where you're like, wait, you started out this way and then you added these other 25. Why'd you do that? Well, somebody asked about this. Somebody, well, how's that selling for you? Oh, it's not selling really well. Well, I mean, you got to focus on your core products, your core focus.
Josh, you absolutely nailed it. That is my biggest thing that I go into these brands, even along the way when I was with Another Broken Egg and did a few things on my own. And you have to focus. You have to be extremely good at one, maybe two things. You can't be everything to everybody. And if you really look at some of the really successful fast casual brands or QSR brands, Raising Cane's, prime example. Chicken tenders, 4 items on their menu. Chipotle, and they crush it. They nail it. I mean, where can you go wrong? So I think focus is absolutely key, and that's what Southern Classic has done. Along the way, people have asked them, they won't even have a fried chicken sandwich on their menu yet.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's almost become a running joke, but they're like, no, we do incredible volumes. We've got our model figured out. This is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do it, and nothing else. And I love it. I think they're spot on. I'm glad to see a restaurant group have that discipline to be focused because, to your point, everybody and their brother has an idea for you. Chicken sandwich is a prime example, or chicken salad, or, why don't you take your wasted chicken, chop it up and make a chicken salad sandwich? And it's just, no, let's focus on what we do and keep moving.
But it's funny, and we'll obviously talk a lot more about Southern Classic Chicken. You mentioned Another Broken Egg, and we've got those here. I'm based in Indiana,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
really good concept. Good breakfast. It's good business kind of vibe. At least pre-COVID and everything. Business meetings there. I got a funny story to tell you about Another Broken Egg, though. So I would go there and I'd be meeting people, for breakfast and so forth. And on the menu, well, I think it still does. It would say, fresh squeezed orange juice. And
Correct.
so I'd be like, oh man, I love fresh squeezed orange juice. Let me get it. And every time I get it, it was like, no, this is like right out of a bottle. And I remember saying something a couple times, and finally I was just shooting the breeze because I'd gotten to know, I think, a manager or something over there. And I said, why does it say fresh squeezed oranges? It's just like, he's like, oh, well, we get a lot of people who comment on that. On the bottle that we use to pour the orange juice, it says fresh squeezed orange juice. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. This is too high end of a breakfast place to have that. You got to have the real fresh squeeze. And then they actually changed a little bit of their menu. So it's just sort of a funny story because it's a good, but it's a higher end breakfast place, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely the high end of breakfast. They do an exceptional job. Great taste profiles. The culinary guy behind that brand, Jason, he's phenomenal. I was actually just thinking about that today. I took my son to breakfast this morning, and I was thinking about it. They do an exceptional job in that space.
Well, how do you, I mean, to that point, I mean, how do you like with the Southern classic chicken? I mean, we're talking about how important it is to stay with your roots, stay with what got you there, right? Stay in that lane. But at the same time, it's also important to keep things fresh, freshened up, to experiment a little bit, right? And possibly expand out a little. I mean, how do you balance all of that? I mean, you were talking about not even having a sandwich. Do you guys do hot chicken?
The chicken already has enough spice, so it's not kind of like a Nashville hot type thing. It's a double-edged sword. You take a polished casual like Another Broken Egg, or pull out any other casual, or some fast casual to that point. You do have to grow your client base, or your customer base is, they're always evolving and changing, and you feel like you need stuff. Whereas on the other hand, when you have a singular product, most people, I mean, think about yourself, and when you go out to lunch, if you want a particular thing, if you want a burger or salad, or whatever it is, you're going to that restaurant to get that one item.
Yep.
We look at fried chicken, it's 1, 2 times per week, and you're going and you're getting that exact same product every single day. It's like my kids. I hate to keep bringing up a competitor, but my kids have to have Raising Cane's once a week. So it's one of these things that I think if that's a staple menu item in your diet, you're going there to get it. It's worked for them for 30 plus years, 35 years now. The AUVs are constantly rising. Our high end AUVs, I think, would absolutely floor people. So it works. So,
Well, stick with it. Yeah, stick with it. I mean, tell me about the size profile in terms of the real estate that we're talking about. I mean, I'm imagining, as you said, a walk up location. You got the drive through. I mean, are these standalone? Are these part of retail combination?
these are all standalone. We go on about a half an acre, 1,400 square foot building. We're building a brand new prototype right now, and we're going to do the double stack so we can really pull people in off the street, stack them up a little bit more. And yeah, it's 1,400 square foot building. That's it.
So, who owns the real estate?
The franchisee or the company. So
Okay, so you guys are leaving it as options. Like either the franchisee can come in and buy the land, or you guys might buy the land and lease it to them.
it depends on the market. I can't say that we're interested in subsidizing real estate for people right now. I do have some partnerships with some developers that are interested in doing some build to suits that are very attractive. But for the most part, the type of franchisee that we're looking for, they have the ability to take down the real estate and do it the right way.
Well, it's like you were reading my mind. That was my next
Right.
question: is what kind of franchisee are you looking for? Who's a good fit for this model?
This is, for our particular model, we're really are searching for that franchisee that already owns multi units of another non competing brand, somebody who understands, who has built in systems already or built in people. What we're trying to do with Southern Classic Chicken, this is a long jog. We're not out here looking to, award a million franchisees tomorrow. We are truly looking for the right partners and to grow this brand methodically. We're not in a rush, so we're prepared to wait and look for the right fit. And the reason why the family wants this fit is because it's been a huge step for them to go to franchising and to allow other people into their system. So therefore, their thought process is, if we're going to bring people in from the outside, then we want the absolute highest caliber and qualified restaurant person that we can partner with.
So you're not really looking for the single unit operator. You're looking for multi-unit or area developer type model.
Unfortunately, correct. And I know that, trust me, look, in my experience, some of the best franchisees that I've seen in other systems are guys that came out of the financial institution, or engineers who just, give me the playbook, showing me how to follow the play, and I'll I'll hit a home run, and they did. But we're looking for guys who absolutely have multi-unit restaurant ownership, have the resources to go develop at least 3 units in their market and grow out their teams.
Well, I like that. I mean, it's specific. You've been a part of a lot of franchise systems. Sounds like you've done it yourself. What's so often? First of all, franchisors don't know what they really want. I mean, it sounds crazy. You think, oh, as a franchisor, you really do, but so often, I see franchisors that are just. It's like they're opening in all sorts of different places for no rhyme or reason. They don't really know who they're looking for. They haven't clearly identified who is a good franchisee, and usually that comes back to bite them in a not so good way. But I'm curious with you, because you bring a unique background. What's it been like for you going from taking concepts yourself and franchising them to now really advising other people on how to grow? I mean, that can be good, but it also seems like, it's like the analogy of a player who plays, a sport and then turns into a coach. And sometimes that doesn't work so well. So
You're absolutely right.
what's that been like?
It's extremely hard because, doing it on your own, you get to call the shots, even if it's your idea. I'm the kind of guy that I'm always going to surround myself with people a lot smarter than myself. And so I like to make decisions off of, a group consent and then move forward. And then a lot of times when you're working with other brands, they just like anything in life, you and somebody else, one person could see a red car, the other one sees a black car. And it's just, you're never going to see this exact same thing. So I run into that battle a lot. And I think that's why, in my experience, I've actually cut brands away just because either couldn't align myself with the ownership, or the fundamentals of the brand. I wasn't into it. So for me to truly partner, and people ask me all the time, what do I do? I guess you could say I'm a consultant, but I'm really not. I've truly partnered with these 1 or 2 brands that I'm working with, and it's a long-term play for me. And I truly, truly enjoy who I'm working with. We're aligned. I'd probably say 99%. And so once I get to that stage, I know where I'm at, and it's a lot easier. I don't question their judgments. I don't try to impose my thoughts on them, and so forth.
Well, I say this lovingly to all my, restaurant clients and stuff like that, and people I know in restaurants. And I'm like, you got to be a little bit crazy to
Yeah.
go into restaurants, just in general, right? I mean, not crazy bad, but it's just you're sitting there, you're oftentimes, and maybe not so much with this concept, right? Because it sounds like with this concept, there's not that many employees, really. There's a few employees at a time, but typically with a restaurant, I mean, you're managing young teenager employees, high turnover, entry level positions for a certain number of them. And so it's just you're dealing with a lot of craziness, and you're dealing with food, which, food costs change, pricing change. You got to maintain that consistency. And, just because somebody came to your place 10 times in a row and it was good, if it's bad the 11th time, it's hard to get them back. I mean, what's the attraction to the food? Are you a foodie yourself, or what keeps you in this game?
That's a great question. Am I a foodie? I guess I could say no. When I was younger, before I had kids, I think I was. But now I enjoy the challenge. This may sound crazy, but to your point of the type of entry level employees that you're dealing with, I like helping people. I really do. I think and we talk about this a lot at Southern Classic Chicken, and another gentleman that we're looking at working with on maybe becoming a franchisee and expanding Southern Classic. How do you take these young kids, and even so much younger people in the urban markets, and give them an opportunity? And everybody's teachable. You just have to have the ability and the drive and the want to go do it. I really think it's the satisfaction of helping people. I think people that are in the restaurant business, they just thrive off the craziness.
Yeah, and as a final question, I mean, with all your experience, and there's people listening who right now are contemplating whether or not they should turn their restaurant into a franchise. Out of everything you've learned, it may be hard to sort of quantify it into one, but I mean, what's sort of the best piece of advice you could give somebody before they're going to actually make that decision to franchise their business, turn their business into a franchise?
They need to create a company, a brand, and develop multiple units that are a proven success and that are truly bringing cash flow to the bottom line. If you think you're going to franchise because you're short on cash and you think this is a good way to grow cash or to raise capital, you're fighting a massive uphill battle. In order to franchise, in my view, and especially as I've gotten older and been around this a little bit longer and even watching what's going on in the world today, you really have to be doing this for the right reasons. You have to be self-supportive and take your time.
If you want to learn more about Southern Classic Chicken, you can go to southernclassicchicken.com and you can check out their franchising opportunity at southernclassicchicken.com/franchising. You can also find them on LinkedIn. I'm sure other social media sites as well. Thank you, Nick, for coming on and sharing a little bit about the brand. I'm excited for the opportunity for you guys. And certainly it sounds like with your experience and your partner's experience, you guys have a lot of experience to bring to the table, valuable experience. And sometime when I'm down in Louisiana, I'm going to come check it out.
Yeah, please do. Thank you very much, Josh. I enjoyed the time, and reach out if I can help you in the future.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Franchise Euphoria. If you enjoyed this episode or have enjoyed the podcast in general, I would really appreciate it if you could go to iTunes and leave me a rating and review. It really helps to get this podcast out to more and more people. So the easy way to do it is go to iTunes and in the search box, put in Franchise Euphoria. You will then see my cover art and you click on my smiling face that says Franchise Euphoria and then click on the link that says ratings and reviews. It's that simple, but boy, oh boy, does it mean the world to me when people leave ratings and reviews. And like I said, it really helps get the show out there. Once again, would love it if you would go to iTunes and leave a rating and review if you enjoyed this episode or other episodes of the show. And until the next time, happy franchising.